Imagine you just graduated university, landed your dream job, and maybe even get to find yourself a beautiful wife. But then a couple years go by and you've realized that you're going to be working for the next 40 years, slowly rotting away until you eventually die of old age or World War III. Sounds perfect, right? Eat, sleep, work, repeat. Eat, sleep, work, repeat. Eat, sleep, work, repeat. This is it. The American dream your elders pushed down your throat as the ideal way of living life. A cog in a machine, a rat in a spinning wheel chasing a block of cheese but never truly inching closer. And to make it worse, the one ray of sunshine, the potential of an office romance dies as you're literally getting NTR'd by your chopped boss.
See ya, Mr. Tendo.
But as you reach rock bottom, alive but dead inside, living every passing day like an Elden Ring NPC wandering the grasslands of Limgrave, you go to make your daily commute to work as usual when you see an unusual sight. Your landlord is eating a lady alive like a ghoul from Tokyo Ghoul when you snap back to reality. Scared, you run away, confused as to what's going on, but then it hits you. You're not worried, you're not sad, you're not even terrified. You're simply happy that you no longer have to clock into work. That's the exciting adventure of Zonm 100 Bucket List of the Dead, a true exploration of the average unemployed person. Since Halloween is around the corner, I wanted to do a horror-based video, and zombies is close enough. So hey, let's cut the yapping and get straight into the meat and potatoes. But before we can get into the meat and potatoes, this video is sponsored by Zen Market, the easiest way to buy anything straight from Japan. Even if you don't speak Japanese, you can shop from over 10,000 Japanese stores and have everything shipped to your front door. Anime, merch, tech, fashion, collectibles, literally anything. Here's how it works. Just go to zenmarket.jp, search what you want, or even paste a link from a Japanese store like Rakuten, Mercari, or Amazon Japan. Zen Market buys the item for you, stores it safely for 60 days, and then lets you bundle all your stuff into one parcel to save on shipping. They also handle all the translation, payment, and packaging, so it feels like shopping locally in Japan without the hassle. And on top of that, they even have a loyalty program with the possibility of receiving cashback. If you want to learn more about that, just check the Zen Market website. And the best part, if you sign up using my link, go.zenmarket.jp/Senshiig, you'll get a free 1000 Zen points bonus, which is about 1000 yen off your first international shipping. So yeah, make sure you go check it out and start your Japanese shopping adventure today. Thanks again to Zen Market for sponsoring this video. Let's actually get back into the meat and potatoes. We start with our main character Akira looking super tired whilst working from home on his laptop. I can tell bro is not doing good. He's eating that pot noodle Bombay bad boy, got bags under his eyes, and his room looks on par with Asmongold's. How can a human actually live like this? We get a 3-year flashback, and it turns out that this was Akira's dream job. He graduated from a top university with top grades and was actually quite a talented rugby player. This is also where he meets fine office shit. After work, they go to socialize at the bar, and for a moment his life actually looked like sunshine and rainbows. They finished their food, and I'm not even joking. At the crack of dawn, 2 AM in the morning, they all go back to work. My boy Akira is perplexed. He ended up staying in the office for almost 2 days straight before getting to clock out. He tries to power through but genuinely begins losing his marbles when he catches people sleeping underneath their desks on their breaks and going band for band with the amount of unpaid overtime they did. I used to work an office job and they paid me from 9 to 5, and the moment it hit 5 PM, I was out of there, not a second more. I will never understand Japanese work culture. Being a salaryman in Japan is equivalent to being like a warehouse worker in the West. I bet if you ask bro on the right how old he is, he might tell you he's 19 years old or something. But hey, at least he's still got Miss Otori from accounting to keep him pushing. I sure hope they get together.
Hey Otori, you got a minute?
Yeah, wrap it up. This might be the average life of a MAPPA employee. This might be a cry for help. I think I finally understand why Japan has safety nets on high buildings and bridges. I'm lasting a smooth 2 weeks at a corporation like this before I blow my shit smooth off. It gets to the point that Akira is genuinely considering jumping in front of a train because his life force is slowly getting drained. We are back to the present and all the color in his eyes has been completely sapped to the point that the show is now in black and white. I thought it was a cool little detail. Akira wakes up for another slave shift in the mines when he gets a letter that he hasn't paid for his bike space, so he goes to the head office to pay it when His landlord turned into a UK crackhead and starts hawking him down. He tries to run away and realizes he's dealing with them World War Z zombies, 99 sprint, straight Kylian Mbappe. Akira is pretty athletic though and manages to run away, but the first thought that clings on his mind is him being late for work. He runs outside and continues to evade them when it finally clicks. If there's a zombie apocalypse, then that means he doesn't have to go to work. The animation goes from black and white to vibrant colors popping all over the screen, and the aspect ratio changes as the black bars get broken and turn into 16:9. He jumps from the top floor landing on some zombies as he continues to parkour his way through the horde like Sonic the Hedgehog with a giant smile on his face. The art direction and cinematography of this episode is just immaculate. He lies at the top of the roof just pondering on everything he can do now that he doesn't have to go to work anymore. Akira tried to take full advantage of being unemployed, but there is still a zombie apocalypse, bro chacho. After some thinking, the first thing he wants to do is confess his love to Miss Otori. So bro hops on his bike and drives to her apartment as the world is literally falling apart. The entire apartment building is crawling with zombies, but he still goes in when he sees his boss, looking like Smo from Dark Souls. Akira takes this opportunity to let him know that he's quitting as bro rugby charges his boss and sends him flying out the building. He continues looking at Miss Otori when he sees her already turn into a zombie. Damn. But hey, beggars can't be choosers. He confesses his love anyways before she charges him, forcing him to run away. Man, that's actually kinda dark. He got cucked for 3 years, and after finally getting the courage to confess, she gets turned into a zombie. It's funny though, a young charismatic boy with the world at his feet needed a literal zombie apocalypse to realize he was wasting his life away. There's nothing that guarantees you'll live to see tomorrow, which is why you should always live every day with a level of contentness and gratitude. Don't live a life of mediocrity because someone told you it's the best way to live your life. Most people die at 25 but aren't buried till they're 70. Chase your dreams, take that leap of faith, fear regret more than you feel failure. Hey, it's been a while since I did some hopecore. Anyways, Akira wakes up and bro is having actual PTSD dreams of his boss yelling at him in his sleep. He genuinely barely even reacts to the news broadcasters getting Freddy Fazbear on live television. He just wants to chill, play Marvel Rivals and drink beer. But when he finds out that he's run out of beer, he looks out the window, weighs his options, and deadass decides to leave his apartment to go grocery shopping. That's when we cut off to a couple on the verge of tweaking out because they are about to die. It's a pretty normal reaction. They run into Akira skating down the side of his building and offer him a place to take shelter when he tells them that he's just going down to the corner shop.
This nigga is crazy.
He asks them if they want anything before jumping on his bike and going to the nearest 7-Eleven. He goes in when he runs into another survivor also trying to stack up on supplies, and this moron decides to spit game at her in the middle of a zombie apocalypse.
That since you and I happen to meet each other here like this, we could maybe exchange contact info?
Step back, one-legged. What kind of shot is that?
Have you ever shot that shot? Do you work on that shot?
She leaves without saying a word, and that's that. Akira goes home and takes a motorcycle on the way back. He's basically in a giant free-roam open world. He tries to give some supplies to his neighbor, but it's too late. Their apartment got raided by zombies. It finally kinda hit Akira that anyone can die at any moment, so he pulls out a notebook and begins writing a bucket list, 100 things that he wants to do before he dies. And I recommend everyone make their own small little bucket list of things they want to do or accomplish in their lifetime. It only feels real for Akira that he can die at any moment because he's in a zombie apocalypse, but the reality is that anyone can die at any time. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We switch focus to the girl we saw in the grocery store, and she actually has her stuff figured out, securing essentials like food and water, stacking the vitamins, staying healthy, and trying to contact other people for help. Her outfit choice is questionable, but it's probably a one-time thing she wore since he was working out. I'm sure she won't be wearing this the whole show. His homie was in the middle of securing some buns at a love hotel when the plague hit and has been stuck there with no food for almost 3 days. Luckily for him, Akira called him like nothing happened and says he's on his way to get him. They had a small falling out after Kensho told him to quit his job because it wasn't healthy, so he hasn't spoken to him for 3 years. Akira lures away the zombies by sounding a loud truck horn and saving Kensho, finally also getting the chance to apologize. Not gonna lie, this might be the definition of male friendships. The zombies return and they escape onto the roof and Kensho is tweaking, but Akira says that they should jump onto the other roof, so with no hesitation, he takes a full Usain Bolt sprinting form and makes this insane leap. He gotta be on that compound V. Kensho, seeing how carefree Akira has become, comes clean and tells him that he also hates his job and was just projecting because he always wanted to be a stand-up comedian instead. He runs up, strips butt booty naked for whatever reason, and barely makes the leap when the next scene is them having a campfire again. butt booty naked whilst catching up. And yeah, I'm sorry to any rugby players, but you guys are never beating the zesty allegations. I heard stories about rugby changing rooms, but this might have confirmed it for me. They continue lollygagging and slowly working their way down the bucket list. This is low-key the dream. I want to be that one unemployed friend sending pics to my homies of me at the top of a mountain on a Tuesday afternoon. They end up taking a very chill, calm and relaxing drive towards the Ikebukuro shopping center so they can get a TV. After making it, they run into these three baddies and this salaryman who have been stuck ever since the plague hit. Since they have enough food and supplies, they decide to all introduce themselves when Akira realizes this is basically just a free man, which is something he had on his bucket list. Kensho is a natural, so it's time for Akira to lock in and hold down the ISO.
You don't happen to have a boyfriend, do you?
Seriously? Are you really asking me that question right now?
No.
Oh my goodness, Valentine!
No.
Whoa,
No.
That is not the shot!
Yeah, that might be a straight red card. Son had absolutely no game, and then it just cuts to Kensho actually getting buns during a zombie apocalypse. Where did they even find a bed? Akira got sick whilst drinking too much, which makes Yukari worried. This man is getting pity play, and on top of that, she says she has a boyfriend. They do end up bonding a little bit over both working horrible jobs. I heard that being a flight attendant is worse than being a waitress, but just as the conversation starts getting good, damn. Turns out that the old guy was infected and infected the other girls that were left. Akira hits him with a Detroit smash, but it's too late. Yukari has been bit. Hey, my boy Akira is 0 for 2 from the field. It's only a matter of time before Hater Central starts tweeting about him. He goes to link up with Kensho, and this man just saw 2 people die in front of him and is all jolly about an 80-inch flat screen TV. At least Akira shed some tears for like half a second. I think these guys would be great friends with Denji and Power. After seeing a bunch of people talk about their dreams, he realizes that he completely abandoned his true dream when he was a child. Akira always wanted to become a superhero. They end up finding out that the military managed to secure Hokkaido, and some remote villages have also managed to block themselves off, which means Akira's parents might still be alive. Anyways, they go to the aquarium to find his super suit, which is basically just a shark-proof wetsuit. We got over to this bus that's being massacred by zombies as they chase this little girl who falls over. Bro, I hate this concept so much. No way you'd fall over in a crucial moment like this. Like, lock in. The zombie leaps in like an abnormal titan, but luckily Akira pulls up looking like season 1 Deki and saves the remaining people, which includes the girl from the grocery store. He wants to show off and look like a cool hero just for him to get done like invincible anytime he tries to fight anyone. He beats the zombies and comes inside to try and make small talk with the girl.
What a coincidence! Running into you again?
Do you love the way I do when I love in your body?
Yeah, this man Akira is 0 for 3 from the field. It might be time to get in the lab and work on your game. She eventually remembers him and we finally get to know her name. Her name is Shizuka, and before even giving bro a thank you, she starts chewing him out. She says people who have strong desires to become a hero often lack self-esteem due to an inferiority complex. Dang, she's right, but damn, was there any need? That was a nasty read. They hear an explosion, so they go to check out what it was. A zombie shark with legs breaks out the aquarium and begins chasing the remaining survivors. And hold up, a shark with legs? And this anime came out in 2023? The Tung Tung Sahur brain rot shark spawned in 2025. Zonm 100 was really ahead of its time. What am I doing, bro? I should really just go find a wife. The shark is applying full court pressure, but they managed to barely get away, except for Shizuka. This is the grade 5 curse Noah thinks Megami got slimed by in the JJK spin-off. Hold up, can I get an instant replay?
Oh, he could be in a bit of trouble.
It's so sloppy. What he's thinking, I have no...
This girl realized she was the slowest and decided to sacrifice Shizuka. Don't hate the player, hate the game. The shark charges up and goes for a bite, but my goat Akira jumps out of the vents and spears the shark. This man gotta be 50% Super Saiyan. These strength feats are insane. She's confused as to why he's helping her when he says that you don't always need a reason to do something. They split up and try to distract it when Shizuka comes up with a plan to neutralize the shark. The shark bounces Akira across the floor like Naruto versus Sasuke when Kensho starts throwing it back to distract it at the last minute. That gives Shizuka enough time to get the batteries to Akira, who is charging up that Delaware smash. It's time to go beyond. Plus Ultra! Yo, this man might be a real hero. The animation for this scene was so crazy. You can tell the studio really loved this property. Shizuka and Akira actually managed to get slightly closer since he actually got a number. This is really the type of stuff you have to do to get a wife in 2025. After returning home, they realize there is a power outage and might genuinely be some of the lonely people left alive in the city. So they decide to go to Akira's hometown. They won't be able to make it to the countryside on the motorcycle, so they try to secure themselves an RV when they run into Shizuka again. They pressure her to join their party, city, and after finding a suitable RV, she finally gives in. After spending some time on the road, Shizuka reveals that this zombie apocalypse is actually a virus and she wants to find a cure. Hey, I'm just saying, big bro Senku would have found a cure for this virus on the same afternoon. Whilst driving, they end up getting spike trapped when Akira's old manager pulls up leading a gang of baseball players. Akira is having a trauma response from seeing his old manager again, but it kinda seems like bro is actually chill because he offers to help Kencho, but I spoke too soon because in exchange, Akira needs to come work for him on his camp. On a side note, this man is so chopped, bro. This might be one of the most chopped character designs in anime. Shizuka calls him out for probably setting up the trap himself. And to make a long story short, this hentai antagonist is exploiting a bunch of people to do his bidding in an attempt to take control of this new world. Bro is basically a B-Tech Tsukasa. He tries laying game on Shizuka when we find out some more lore about her. When she was younger, she was brought up by a controlling father. Her dad was extremely rich and successful and wanted his daughter to be the same way under any circumstances. She had this pet dog that she nursed back to health, but when her dad found out, he called a vet and had them put it down. That is straight up evil. Akira was supposed to complete a 2-day shift for the chief in exchange for helping Kencho, but after the 2 days were up, he uses insane levels of genjutsu to trick Akira into staying longer. Shizuka finds his bucket list, which causes her to want to save him, so he tells him some words of encouragement and explains that Akira helped her change, so now he wants to help him. And it seems like those words of encouragement were really enough to snap him out of the Kyoka Suigetsu, as once again, he tells his boss that he's calling it quits and leaving the camp. Beautiful. But just as they are about to leave, a new shipment of supplies pulls up. It seems like a zombie managed to sneak into the truck and ambush the remaining survivors. Some people took the high ground, but it might be wraps for Boba Bass. And all I gotta say is, good riddance. Up back in the air is gas so up. He still be alive right now if you niggas ain't gas him up. But again, like a true hero, he saves his manager even after everything bro did to him. Deku would be proud. They box in the zombies and leak open some gasoline, eviscerating all of them. Absolute cinema. I like the message that's being portrayed here. Just because you're no longer in a certain environment doesn't mean you're completely healed from the trauma that you incurred. And on top of that, I see a little some brewing between Akira and Shizuka. They continue their journey towards Akira's parents when they run into a stranger's vehicle being swarmed by zombies. Akira puts on his Saiyan man costume just for an actual samurai to pull up and land a Forsaken slash on the zombies, followed up with a world-ending slash into arrow spam. Turn the crime scene into a Picasso painting. The samurai takes off the mask and it's a blonde-haired German girl. Hold up, is that Darkness? Her name is Beatrix, and it turns out that she traveled to Japan because she was in love with Japanese culture. She's basically just a giant weeb who saved up a bunch of money to travel to Japan. Whilst traveling, she ended up getting caught up in the zombie apocalypse, which led her to meet the gang. She needs to deliver these fish to people in a nearby town, so the gang decides to help her out. I thought she was helping survivors, get food rations out, but the whole time she's just trying to eat some sushi. Anyways, after Akira and Beatrix run an Elden Ring Night Rain bus run and defeat all the zombies in the city, they finally get to go to the sushi shop. I'm not gonna lie, the gang's chemistry is insane, straight green links. I thought the sushi master would have been turned into a zombie by now, but bro's actually alive and we get this wholesome moment. They go on another side quest, and what's a 12 episode anime without a beach or hot spring episode? Anyways, now that they've catered to all the gooners, we actually get a little bit of development between Shizuka and Akira, because Shizuka tells Akira that she's afraid of getting hurt, which is why she pushes everyone away, but she feels safe around Akira. They make it to a tunnel, but it's blocked off with a bunch of zombies trapped inside, so they go through the forest. After a couple of side quests, some Gerudo Desert type pathways, and a few life lessons, they officially make it to the village. He hasn't been back here or had any contact with his parents for 3 years, and kind of left on a bad note. They make it to the village and see that no one is there, just to find them doing some country folk nonsense ritual. He comes face to face with his parents and right away begins bawling his eyes out whilst thanking them for everything they've done and apologizing for causing them so much trouble. And as an older son, I understand how he feels. His dad walks towards him and I thought he was gonna hug him, but he gives him a knuckle sandwich to the cranium and tells him to chill out. Bro is the complete opposite from Akira, out here nonchalant maxing. The zombies they saw earlier were trapped by the people of the village because some people from the big city tried coming to the village when they heard that it was safe, but some of them were infected. Akira wants to repay his parents by helping them out as much as possible, and that's when we found out some people from the big city actually made it here. Meet Gyutaro. This guy is basically just a shut-in NEET who couldn't find a job and blames society for his own failures. They are trying their hardest to paint parallels between him and Akira because they are both happy that the plague hit, but instead of living life to the fullest as a good person, he decides to become a certified menace to the nation, creating a list of nefarious activities that they want to do before they die. blow something up, set a building on fire, slap my wife, push my tongue down a girl's throat. What? Ew!
Nasty ass bastard!
You need to be locked up. These guys are Joker level threats to the nation. They continue to spam side quests in the village. Akira gets dreads, Shizuka basically becomes the village doctor, Kensho cheers up a girl that lost her family, and Beatrix is learning about Japanese infrastructure. Kensho and Akira run into Higurashi, and apparently they used to go to the same university before he became a Rudius cosplayer. He always hated them because they always looked like they were having fun. Okay. Some time passes and Akira and his dad end up having a heart-to-heart where he gets to see his dad's true personality for the first time. His dad says he wanted to be an astronaut but gave up because he was too dumb, and further pushes Akira to never give up on his dreams. It's funny, I think every father and son go through a moment where they randomly open up and become super cool and chill. I call it the great chilling. We got over to this absolute loser and he's decided to let out all the zombies into the village because he doesn't like Akira? You're probably thinking, what could he have done to make them niggas that mad? He's committing an actual premeditated massacre. Bro basically activated the rumbling. Who does he think he is, Eren Yeager? Surely he has a good reason. Surely all of them have good reasons. This guy said he wants to stick his tongue down a woman's throat. I don't even want to hear this P. Diddy affiliate out. The gang tries to save the villagers when they each get to encounter these terrorists one by one. Let's play a little game in the comments. Justified or not? This game show is where we listen and judge. The first contestant he'll be judging is this guy. He wants to slap his wife. Let's find out why. When he first got married, life was good, but then he found out his wife hated him, which made him want to slap his wife. Not justified. Just get a divorce, bro. Domestic abuse is wrong and can land you 5 years in prison. The second contestant is this Sanji fan who wants to stick his tongue down a girl's throat. Let's find out why. He was a waiter at a restaurant and accidentally set the whole restaurant on fire because he didn't put out his own cigarette. Absolutely not justified. These two are not even remotely related. You're just a weirdo. SA can land you up to 10 years in prison. The third contestant is this middle-aged office woman who wants to set fire to her old job's building. Let's find out why. And I kid you not, all that happened was that she was being badmouthed in the office because she was acting like a manager when she wasn't. Not justified. Be yourself. No one likes people like this in the workplace. Arson can land you up to 6 years in prison. And last but certainly not least, we have the final contestant. He just wants to see the world burn and is in the process of committing an actual massacre of countless of villagers. Let's find out why. When he was in elementary school, he always used to go swimming with his homies. But when he got into high school, he couldn't go swimming with his homies anymore. That's it. I'm dead ass. Bro turned into Netanyahu because he couldn't go swimming with his buddies anymore. This is the weakest reason to become a villain I've ever seen in my entire life. He's holding Akira's dad hostage and tells Akira to let himself become a zombie if he wants his dad to live. So Akira opens the door and becomes a zombie. Damn.
Better scramble like an egg before you get folded like an omelet, nigga.
Ooh, that brother's floating in the...
Yeah, that's checkmate, bro, chacho. Turns out they let the zombies in, took them out, and then had the girls use makeup to make it look like Akira turned into a zombie. 200 IQ play. I low-key wish Akira got his get back, but this is Akira we're talking about. He talks no jutsus into telling him why he did what he did, but it's too late. He got bit. And hey, yes sir, I was sick of her ass. I was sick of that bit. Akira embraces him whilst turning into a zombie, and that was seemingly enough to make him switch sides and protect the village? This is fatherless child activities. This is exactly what happens when you weren't loved as a kid. They clean out the remaining zombies and begin rebuilding the village, but Akira's dad was actually extremely ill and doesn't have long left to live because of some unknown illness. Or so we thought. Bro just had hemorrhoids, which can be easily treated by going to the hospital, but he's scared of hospitals. Akira decides to officially start looking for a cure to stop the zombie apocalypse, and the gang sticks together to join him whilst working towards their own dreams. The bucket list continues to grow. Only took him 12 episodes to actually start taking life seriously. I really hope we get a season 2 of this anime. The random, seemingly episodic yet core plot driven story really reminds me of something like One Punch Man. It's honestly pretty peak. But hey, that's it from me. If you enjoyed, make sure you subscribe, join the family, join the Discord. I'm trying to grow the Discord, and yeah, YouTube thinks you'll like this video on screen next, so check it out. Peace.